Facebook is having one of its worst weeks ever, and that has some people absolutely delighted. It kicked off Sunday when 60 Minutes interviewed Frances Haugen, the whistleblower who exposed thousands of pages of internal documents. They showed that people inside Facebook were complaining about how it allows misinformation, incitements of violence, and hate speech to spread, and they were aware that Instagram is harmful to users, particularly girls, but they're pushing to introduce a version aimed at children anyway. It's interesting, but notice how CBS illustrated every reference to misinformation, hate speech, or violence. What do? Showed Trump supporters and repeating the ever more shaky claim that the January 6th Capitol violence was an insurrection. Note to 60 Minutes, social media sites are also used by leftists to spread hate speech and to organize violence. Maybe you missed all the riots, looting, arson, and attacks on citizens, police, and government buildings and monuments last year by the violent leftist radicals like Antifa. But some of us are old enough to remember all the way back to 2020. Makes us wonder how much of this pious concern about Facebook's internal post-vetting and fact-checking is really just about the left not wanting people on the right to have free speech. After all, we've known since the First Amendment was written that some people would use it to express bad or even incorrect ideas, but that could be fixed by challenging them with more free speech. I'm not ready to trade the free marketplace of ideas for a Facebook-created algorithm that decides who gets to speak. Haugen is also testifying to the Senate where she's going to accuse Facebook of tearing societies apart and compare it to big tobacco. And not just because Mark Zuckerberg has blown so much smoke in congressional hearings. But I want to caution you that the enemy of your enemy is not always your friend. The left would like to use this opportunity to create yet another federal bureaucracy with nearly limitless power to cram down regulations on big tech. But as we should know by now, sweeping government regulations rarely hurt the big fish. Instead, it serves only to squash the little guy before they can become successful. All this would result in more censorship of right-leaning and independent sources in favor of the old media conglomerates like CNN, MSNBC, and the New York Times. Something should be done about the big tech problem, but nothing may be better than what Democrats want to do. Speaking of the worst president in my lifetime, we got another hot take from former Vice President Joe Biden. President Biden tried to blame the need to raise the federal debt limit on, wait for it, President Trump. That's right. Trump is once again to blame, along with his reckless tax and spending policies that Joe Biden claims added $8 trillion to the debt in 4 years. Well, let's have a little reality check. Under the 8 years of the Obama-Biden administration, the debt doubled from $10 trillion to $20 trillion. And that was without a pandemic to deal with. They also had the first $1 trillion deficits in history. Under President Trump, the economy boomed, unemployment plummeted to record lows, and there were no $1 trillion deficits for 3 years. That's when, of course, China unleashed a disaster on the world, and the government had to spend trillions of dollars to keep the shutdown economy afloat. Democrats not only supported that spending, many complained it wasn't nearly enough. And now Joe Biden actually wants us to believe that it's Trump's fault that we've got to raise the debt limit, even as he's pressuring Congress to pass nearly $5 trillion in additional spending. So for the record, no, I'm not stupid enough to believe that it's Trump's fault that we've got to raise the debt limit. Although maybe he does believe that most Americans are stupid enough to believe it. And since we're on the topic of Joe Biden bungling the good things Trump gave him, the Washington Times looked at catch and release figures from our southern border, and they found that in August of 2020, under President Trump, Border Patrol agents made 47,282 arrests. More than 90% of them were immediately expelled. 6.6% were put into a speedy deportation or removal process. And only 10, not 10,000, 10 people, effectively a rate of 0% were caught and then released at the border. Let's contrast that because in August 2021, under President Biden, agents made 195,558 apprehensions. About 47% were expelled, 7% put into the speedy deportation process, and the rest either caught and released or caught, turned over to ICE, and given notices to appear in court, which effectively means they were released. That tallies up to a 1-year increase in catch and release of illegal immigrants, be prepared for this, of over 430,000%. Did you get that? 430,000% increase. Yet when criticized for this disaster, the Biden administration has started hilariously complaining that Republicans aren't offering any constructive ideas on how to deal with the border crisis. Okay, well, how about this one? Simply reinstate the Trump border security policies that were working just fine before Joe Biden reversed all of them and single-handedly caused the border crisis. Is that constructive enough for you? And speaking of constructive, he could also finish constructing the border wall. So glad that I could be of some help. Oh, and by the way, good luck finding out anything true about Democrats if they and the media would have their way with big tech. Just remember, you can always find the truth right here, and the best way to stay in touch is to subscribe to the channel below and click the notification bell. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll leave a like and leave a comment. Join me Friday for a live stream at 1 p.m., and then be sure to get all my takes on the news of the day beamed straight to your email inbox. And you can do that really easily. Just go and sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. That'll do it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.